About your first, the impression of what you're taking from this, but secondly, we've been here before, and these new proposals that you look at, some have perceived them that, and I think I heard from you that they're going to affect businesses adversely. What happens between the individual's economy, the business economy, and the thinking of government to an extent that they will come with something that may appear to have the potential to hurt the environment itself?
Yes. Let me just tell Alex the reason why they don't want to tell you what each of those tax measures will generate. They want to do that when he's presenting his speech to Parliament. That's when they'll tell you this one will. I expect it to generate this and expect this to generate that, and they're probably keeping it for that. But I think what is important is what he said, that generally the focus is always on the future, on the planning when budgeting is done. But I think for the ordinary people, it's very important to tell Kenyans what happened last year. How much did you generate? What was the performance? So my first impression about this thing is that I'm actually getting a bit disappointed with this administration. Because for one, they are lying to Kenyans. They told Kenyans in their campaigns very clearly, Kenyans are overtaxed and we are going to reduce taxes. That has been their campaign platform. And then you come into power and year after year, you are looking at a situation where you are simply raising taxes, every which way you can. Even some of them are a duplication. For example, the motor vehicle tax that he has mentioned is a duplication. We used to pay motor vehicle tax. We used to call it the road license, an annual amount of money that you pay when every year. Then they said, no, it's not a very efficient way. Let us get money through the the road development levy. So now you are getting the road development levy for the use of your car. At the same time, you take fuel, you are paying fuel levy again on the same car. Now we are going to pay money again, some tax on the same car. I mean, what you're telling Kenyans is, this is a government that wants to collect money any way they can. And I think the second thing is that we were told the reason why last year they are going to go for more taxes is because they want to move away from loans. That has not happened. We are borrowing. If you look at the policy statements by the Treasury, in the 5 years to 2027, Treasury expects to borrow up to 5 trillion. Then you accuse the previous administration that did 6 trillion in 10 years. And here you're really saying we're going to collect 5 trillion. For me, I think actually it's going to be more than 5 because we are not meeting the targets in revenue. So I think what is important is that government should listen to businesses and to Kenyans. And this is what is not happening. This is what is not happening. This is why you find disconnect in some of the measures that always come up in the finance bill last year and this year. Businesses go and complain about, manufacturers, all sectors, every sector complains about it. There's no consultation, there's no engagement, there's no discussion on what is a better way of doing this or what is more efficient. So when you simply leave it to technocrats in the ministries to sit down and work out figures on how to raise more money, they're told, you must get 300 billion more, then you sit down and find out where I can get 300 trillion. For example, when the digital service tax, when you tell foreign businesses, you'll pay up to 20% of your turnover, something like that. That's what they said in this. 20%, 20% of its, on your gross turnover is what the tax will be based on. And you've gone to Silicon Valley. You've told fellows, come here, and you're telling them, I'm going to charge you this again. So I think there seems to be, in my view, the rationale for some of these measures is not really very sound. And lastly, I want to say what I saw the chairman of the budget committee saying that, look, this is just a proposal. And I mean, we went through that. Last year, we were told the same thing. Yeah. It was the most actively debated finance bill in the history of this country. Tens of thousands of views were submitted, and everything went into the dustbin. They went ahead and got it signed the way they wanted. This is not going to be any different. We'll give views, and in fact, I don't think Kenyans will participate the way they did last year because of what happened last year. But it's important that Ruku is here, because Ruku, when he came in, I remember watching him on TV here in, in 2022. And he said Kenya is one of the least taxed countries in the world. And they compared us with, Germany and Norway, and I remember South Africa. Look, if you leave these buildings, tall buildings, Ruku, Nairobi, you are one of the most, underdeveloped countries in the world. It's a third world country. People are poor. That's why you see your kids in school struggling to get where to sit. So we are not, you cannot really do these things because you are going, it's most of, my worry is as a businessman, I find some of these measures are disincentive to businesses. Because what are businesses for? I invest money, I expect also some return. But when the cost of doing business is so high, already the cost of power and many other things, infrastructure, you have already a lot of challenges, then you are going to tax this way because every action that is taken, for example, these financial services taxes that have been introduced, they're really going to affect everybody because at the end of the day, when my cost goes up, I will raise my charges to this guy. His cost goes up, we'll increase the charges to this other guy. So what you're going to make is the cost of living is going to be expensive. Cost of doing business is going to be expensive.
Right.
So you don't achieve what you want to really achieve at the end of the day as a government.